the world at large, last year was the first year of AI. Anyone could use artificial intelligence. To many, it was as if the future had crash-landed into the present. OpenAI, ChatGPT put AI on the agenda for every management team and board of advisors and board of directors across the globe. Everyone wanted to know how they could get value. Everyone still wants to know how they can get value. The challenge is, of course, that according to all of the industry monitors, 80% of AI projects fail. McKinsey, Gartner, AWS, IBM, a host of others continue to report with surveys that show that AI, ML, advanced analytics projects either don't make it into production or they fail to achieve business objectives. And yet, McKinsey estimates $4.4 trillion of potential in generative AI annually. To put this in perspective, the entire GDP for the UK in 2021 was $3.1 trillion. $4.4 trillion in potential value, greater than the GDP of the UK. So it's little surprise to hear that Boston Consulting Group says a revolution in business model innovation is upon us. FSRA, the Financial Services Regulatory Authority, they were able to go from pilot to production in 12 weeks. They deployed an LLM-powered risk assessment solution with background checks and document analysis in just 12 weeks. Moderna's medical affairs team, they save 40 hours a month by automating the analysis of diverse medical data with their LLMs. This focus on AI being a business driver is changing how we see our return on investment for AI. And yet, it doesn't change a thing. Show of hands. How many team members see a project failure as just being one that doesn't achieve its hypothesis? You're not alone. It's relatively quick to arrive at that conclusion, right? As a senior advisor on the business transformation team at Dataiku, I speak with customers every day who are very comfortable with expressing what you see up on the screen right now. They know that they can achieve speed and agility, they know that they can get stack efficiency, and they know they can achieve control. But those things aren't going to cut it anymore. And why? So earlier on, we heard about differentiated AI. If you just hitch your business and return on AI to these platform gains, you're not going to get ahead of the competition. In these value discovery sessions that I do with our customers, by and large, data leaders, data team members are less able to identify how data projects drive business value. That's because, essentially, it's pretty hard when you're siloed away from the business team. It's why we, as a business transformation team, exist. So what we want to do is to consider year one of AI and beyond. Let's lead with business value. Let's make sure that you hitch your wagon to a business objective every time you start a data project. Every time that you put a project into its first stage of production, every time you make a connection to a data set, ask yourselves, what value is this driving for the business? If you do this, you'll be able to understand how to tell the data story. This is a familiar arc, the story narrative. An IBM study last year showed just 8% of CDOs spend less than their peers on deriving greater value. So just think about that for a minute. They spend less money, but they get greater value. Now, how can that be true? Like just that 8% of them are spending less money and achieving that value. Well, simply put, they're being more effective at connecting the data project to the business value outcome. 44% of CDOs defines success as achieving business objective. So we're on our way, 44%, nearly half, and those numbers come from a survey last year by AWS. This is AI's time to shine. We have the opportunity and the responsibility to tell these stories. We have to tell them in a compelling and effective way. So we need to start out at the beginning with the setup. Make sure that the organization understands the context. Link those to the strategic imperatives. Are they revenue? Are they cost savings? Is it customer satisfaction scores? We need to identify the potential value and how it's going to be delivered. We need to really illustrate the resources that are required to obtain action. And we need to be able to resolve this, offer a resolution to our organizations that measure a performance objective and target dates. We need to be accountable as data team members for this responsibility. Enablement is the pathway to getting there. It's the pathway to illustrating change, to managing that change. Honing these value stories allows you to continue to be the advocate and the marketer and champion for business value within your organization. That understanding, that communication, that very act of telling the story, that's what achieves its scale in data and analytics. You don't have to change anything structurally. You take the same content, your DNA projects, the platforms, the dashboards, but you hone their usefulness in personalized ways. Maybe you create a dashboard to show execution and usage of data projects across a range that vary in complexity or across different functions within the business. As this global investment bank shows, taking a centralized platform approach and unifying people across different functions, but giving them similar processes and objectives and ways of handling things, allowed them to recognize $10 million of savings. Some of them were small, some of them were large. These are the value stories that we need to develop into 30-second elevator pitches that enable you, when you're asked in your normal course of business, hey, what do you do for our organization? That you can tell a real story. So here are some stories. Customer email classification saves $1 million in people hours. You're push selling and you're cross-selling via a recommendation engine, you manage to get 3x uplift in revenue for multiple products. An automated dashboard highlights missing rates in pricing systems, and you achieve savings that are prevent millions of dollars of revenue being leaked every year. See, this is just some of the ways that we can say this is what we do. Finding a way to link your data project to a business objective that is clearly meaningful to your business. Sometimes these happen top-down, they come from strategic imperatives. Other times they can come from your management team and your leadership. Grasp onto them, because these are just some of the examples of the way data teams and their members are generating value across industry sectors. So as a data team leader, member of a data team, how do you kind of knit this all together to tell a bigger story? So here's one of our retail customers. Across the top, you can see the different functions within the business, from marketing through to internal FP&A and audit. You identify the use case, you give it a description, and then in consultation with your business sponsor, you get them to validate the value. You're not isolated and alone in doing this, but you do need to partner and you do need to bring them in together. You essentially need to make sure that in every vertical, your business sponsor is reading from the same copybook as you are. Make sure that if they're asked to tell the story, they say the same thing as you do. You get consistency in messaging across the organization, and you will start to see people recognizing the value that the data team and the data projects deliver. Stories that hold the attention of the reader, listener, or viewer. Those are the ones that demonstrate a change. So find a way to make sure that you establish a delta, that you understand that this is better than what you did before. This is how it used to be. This is what we're doing today. I'd like to introduce Christine Andrews. She's our manufacturing subject matter expert. She's going to explain a couple of ways in which this can be established rapidly and accelerated through. Welcome to the stage, Christine.
Thanks, Nigel. Appreciate it. Thank you. I've been in a lot of different manufacturing environments and worked with myriad different IT and OT systems over the years. So what I will tell you is I lead our manufacturing business solutions team. Now, what do we do at Business Solutions? Well, what we do is a couple things. One, we help to strategize and consult and explain to you from our years of experience working in these different environments and with different types of customers, what to avoid, right? How to start and how to roadmap your journey and your path to value, which Nigel talked about. The other thing we do, a big part of what we do, is build these pre-packaged projects, these templates that are designed to accelerate your time to value by delivering on specific use cases. So on the manufacturing side, right, what does that mean? Well, if you think about what analytics can mean, it's connecting that digital thread, I'll use that term, building to a digital twin, right? Analytics absolutely help enable that. And ultimately, right, build to that a connected enterprise vision. So an example is we have some solutions that traverse the value chain, right? We have these pre-bundled packaged solutions, for example, on demand forecasting. So how do you optimize your supply chain? Well, you need a good demand plan. But then it goes all the way into the manufacturing space in the make area, right? Where you need to optimize maintenance, improve efficiency and OEE. All of these things are interrelated. And then finally, even more generic type solutions, and we talk about process mining. Are your processes, are your business practices correct? Where are those inefficiencies and where are those bottlenecks? So that's kind of a big part of what we do, is try to accelerate that time to value. Some of these are art of the possible, and some of these are just plug and play solutions that different types of personas and people within your different domains can utilize. We'll take a quick look at one. This is for our maintenance schedule optimization solution. You see here the flow of the solution. So all of this comes, right? It's already done. There's an application layer, so it's very scalable. You just route to your particular data and you can use these solutions. And we're always here to help. But if you look at this one, for example, it's using your maintenance management data. So think your CMMS data, your enterprise asset management systems, and on top of that, using that characterization. Is it planned? Is it unplanned downtime? To help use and actually move from unplanned to planned maintenance. It reduces maintenance costs. It improves availability, right? Throughput, all of those things. The real gist here is about tailoring your maintenance schedule for your particular assets and using AI and ML to do so. The data oftentimes is already there and it's not being leveraged sufficiently. But this just gives you one example of what you can do with some of these solutions and how they can work and help to accelerate your value, hopefully. If you have any other questions about the solutions, or more importantly, the overall value journey, and how you can make your way there through an incremental, tactical, and strategic approach, stop by the ROI booth, talk to Nigel, and I know we have a lot to share.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Christine.